Welcome to The Thriving Entrepreneur, where high performance and business strategy blend almost as perfectly as crepes and Nutella. Grab your headphones and your favorite flavored latte and tune in weekly as we talk about business, personal development, marketing, mindset, and everything in between. And now, your host, high performance coach, business strategist, and chocolate addict, Yasmin Inal.
Hey Thrivers, welcome to another episode of The Thriving Entrepreneur. So excited that you're here. This is your host, Yasmin Inal, and joining me today is Alyssa Gavinski. Alyssa is a busy mom of four. Yes, 4 little ones, CEO and executive creative director of her design company, Felicity Design Inc. She believes you don't have to sacrifice style for purpose and that you deserve a web presence that is uniquely you and can make the impact that you want. Because when you're authentically you, you choose elements of your brand because of the way they make you feel. That is when your brand will be successful. Alyssa, my dear, how are you? Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. We've been friends for a while. I've got tingles because I'm just so excited to be on your podcast today. Yeah, so thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Guys, let me just tell you, this is not in her bio, but Alyssa is the person who has rebranded my website last year, like literally at the end of last year, right? Yeah. 2015, we were talking about how I was rebranding and you were the one who brought the genius, your brilliance and your genius to the table. And we created something magical. To this day, everyone compliments me on my website. And
I'm so glad.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's go into your story because you have such a powerful brand. You have such a powerful presence online.
Thanks.
I love how you show up, visible all the time, vulnerable, sharing your stories. But just take us back to, I would say, like, when did you discover this about yourself? Like that you were meant to become an entrepreneur, that you were meant to be your own boss? Because I know that your academic background was completely different.
Yeah, it was. I have a degree from the Faculty of Medicine, not a doctor at all, but the degree just happened to be from the Faculty of Medicine. Mm-hmm. And I realized in my 3rd year that it wasn't the path I wanted to take, but I knew how important it was, not only to my family, but to me to have that degree, to finish what I started. Sure. So I did get that degree. I went into a couple jobs that didn't really push me. I was kind of bored. I didn't really feel like it was where I was supposed to be. And then I decided I really wanted to put work aside and be a mom. So I had 7 pregnancies over the course of 4 years. And so I lost 3, but I do have 4 beautiful little children. And when you have 4 in 4 years, you become an automatic stay-at-home mom because the cost of daycare just outweighs any income that you'd bring in anyway. So I was a stay-at-home mom, and I had always done their birthday invitations. I planned parties. I did my sister's wedding. Like the design was always something I loved to do. But I never thought that I could ever, charge for it or make a business out of it. So what came first actually was, I don't know if you know this, I was a direct salesperson in Park Lane Jewelry, like a jewelry company.
Okay.
For about a year. And it was kind of my first little step into that little entrepreneurial pool of being your own boss and having your own hours and making the income based on how much you work. How much income you get, right? As opposed to like a 9-to-5 job that you go to every day.
Yeah.
So that was the first little step. And then I realized it was kind of like I was a distributor for another company. It still wasn't my own company. And then someone said, put it online, put your design online, do logos, do invitations. And I was like, no one's going to charge me. I guess I'll do it. Fine, whatever. And I put it on really cheap. Then I got 105 clients in a period of 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. That's one way to build up your portfolio really quickly.
Yeah.
I built up.
I'm sure you were totally undercharging, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So back then I was charging in Canadian because I'm in Canada.
Yes.
Even though the online kind of currency is US dollars, I was charging in Canadian. But if you convert it to US, it was about $10 for a logo.
Oh my God.
So I got 105 clients. I felt like it was like $1 million. Like I felt really proud of myself for getting clients. And so I built up my portfolio. I learned some more skills. But then I learned, I was working with a group program and a coach, and I realized, no, I didn't realize. I didn't believe it. She told me that I was skilled at it, that I was actually really good at it and needed to charge more. So that kind of was the beginning of my web business. Now was just putting out those offers, and then people believed that I could do it, and now I'm doing it and I love it.
I know, and you're so amazing at it, right?
Thank you.
I love that. And one thing that I love is that you have different things, like you don't turn away a client. Like when someone comes to you, I mean, I hired you for my entire website. So obviously that's a high-end kind of a package, but I know you also have other stuff, which I love seeing that in other entrepreneurs, because that's something I like to teach in my business strategy sessions with clients, to create different things for different people. Because if someone really wants to work with you and they don't have the, the ability to buy that big thing, that high-end product yet, and I underline that word yet, you at least introduce them to your brilliance with something smaller, because once they get a taste of it and once they see the value, they will be investing in something better. And even if they don't, you have helped them do something amazing.
And it's always true that people that have worked with you are usually the easiest, the best referrals, right? The best referrals come from people who like working with you. And whether it's a big package or a, one page or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. I mean, I see that I've actually been introducing that into my business this past year. Awesome. I do intensive sessions, 90-minute intensives. And because I do that, I'm bringing in more clients into my group coaching or my one-on-one, because when they see that intensive session and, they're getting so much value within those 90 minutes, they're like, okay, I definitely want more. And that's a great way for them to transition into the bigger thing, So I find that it really, really works beautifully.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Awesome. So tell us about a time when you just weren't thriving. And we're going to ask you, I'm going to ask you to define thriving in a minute, but just tell us about a day, a time in your life when you just weren't feeling like you were thriving.
Okay. So we moved we were living in our like a duplex, like a house for about 5 years, and it was good. But in that time of living there, we ended up having 2 more children and still only 1 bathroom. So 6 people in 1 bathroom. We outgrew the house.
Doesn't work.
Does not work. So we moved in February of this year. So about 9 months ago. And the other big change was our old house. We worked for our city. So we had, we were living rent free. But now we're living in our new home, we pay rent. So it was a large jump in kind of expenses for our family.
Yeah.
And what's ironic, I guess, if you look at my company growth, it took a huge dive in those first few months of moving here. Even though right before that, I was so confident, my business is flowing, my the money is coming in, the clients love me, we can move, we can make it and live in this bigger house and pay rent. It's going to be fine. And then my income dropped really drastically. Wow. And I was freaking out, and I realized, took a long time, I didn't realize it till the summer, that the reason it dropped was because of my mindset. I had put all the weight of my whole family on my shoulders, because I felt like the only reason we've moved to a rent paying home is because I'm making the money. So now I have to make the money for it to happen. So all that mindset stuff really backfired, right? And it made me not make the money.
Because you're now putting yourself under that pressure.
So much pressure.
Saying, oh my gosh, I got to make it. Oh my gosh, I got to make it. Everybody's depending on me. And then you're freaking out. And because of that, you can't be creative. Oh my goodness. I've been there multiple times.
Yeah.
Not a good place to be in.
No, it's so hard, because then you're like, did I make the wrong decision? My family, my kids are depending on me. What do I do? Yeah. It was really, really tough.
Yeah. So how did you climb out of it?
That's a good question.
that's what everybody wants to know now. Okay. They're like, okay, I'm there, Alyssa. What do I do? How do I get out of it? How do I continue?
Well, literally the first thing was recognizing that it was happening, because I didn't even realize that was happening. I just knew I wasn't getting clients, but I didn't notice the actual turning point was February. And all it seems so simple, but it really takes a lot of mind work, was literally just a shift in my mindset. Because before, and it was August that this happened, in July and earlier, so February to July, I kept telling myself, I just need enough. Just enough clients, enough income, enough money to pay for rent, to pay for these bills. I just need enough. Every month I got enough. I got exactly enough to pay the bills every month. And then I realized that in August, I don't want to live month to month or paycheck to paycheck or week to week. I want to be abundant, and I want to have the flow of clients and creativity and energy and money. So all I did was remind myself of that multiple times a day over a while, quite a few days, all month of August, really. And by the end of August, I had brought in still the same number of clients that I typically bring in a month, but I had enough revenue in the funnel, I guess, like with invoices and whatnot, to cover all of our family and business expenses for like 4 months. Like till
That's
December.
amazing. That's amazing.
And the only thing that was different was that mindset.
Yeah.
That was the only thing.
Flipping that switch.
Totally.
Yeah.
So the way to get out of it is just recognize it and then flip the switch. Say, I might be scared. I might be terrified. I might not know how this is going to happen, but I am abundant. I am going to get the energy and the money that I desire, not just that I need, because not just having enough is not good enough. Really, you want to be abundant in all things. And so,
of course, I mean, especially as entrepreneurs and as big-hearted entrepreneurs, I know that you share that quality with me, which is why we're friends.
Yeah.
And, we want to be able to make a bigger difference. We want to be able to help others, who are not as maybe fortunate as us, right? So with our message, we want to also be able to give back.
Exactly.
Like, to me, like, that's why it's so important for me to hit my financial goals, not because I'm greedy, but it's because the more I make, the more I can give.
Exactly. And the more you can do for other people. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and the more you can give, the more impact you're making, the more lives are touched, the more people are elevated.
Yeah.
That's what living is about. So I love that you're mentioning that. So what does thriving mean to you? Because that's something I love asking everyone. Everyone has a different, unique definition, and I can't wait to hear yours.
Okay. My definition of thriving is ease. It's easy. It flows. You're not having to worry about it and think about it so much and, stay up sleepless nights because you're afraid of what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. It's just easy. And along with ease comes joy. When it's flowing and you're enjoying it, that's thriving to me. So I know I'm thriving when I'm enjoying it. And
I love it. I love it. One of the things of high performance is we always say, like, we generate joy, we generate energy, we generate motivation. We even have like a hashtag bring the joy kind of thing as part of high performance. So I love that you're mentioning that, because it's so powerful to, you could be doing something, right? You could be like, and I know you're like a high achiever, an A player kind of a person. You've always been that way. You've shared that with me. So I know that for someone who's so driven, sometimes success could mean a lot of stress. It could mean like, oh my gosh, I got to get this done. It's deadline and this and that. And then you're not enjoying the process. Okay, you achieved the results. You got, some amazing cash flow coming in, but you didn't enjoy it. You weren't
and it probably wasn't
about
easy.
it.
It probably wasn't easy.
Exactly. And that defeats the whole purpose of being a thriving entrepreneur, because it's not the destination, but it's the journey that we want to be focusing on. Of course, the destination is great when we get there, but the journey has to be awesome as well.
Did you know that Felicity and design? So Felicity means joy.
Yeah.
That's part of my message, is like bringing joy into what you do. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. I love the name of your company. I know it's something that you rebranded yourself this year.
I did.
It's so great to see that blossoming. And
Thank you.
and getting into, making a difference in the lives of entrepreneurs. So I want us to jump into your expertise. I want you to share your brilliance with the audience, because I know a lot of people want to know about branding. Like, we all hear it. It's important. It's important to brand yourself properly. You need all these things. And sometimes it can be really, really overwhelming to people. Like, they're freaking out. They don't know what to do. Where do I start? So tell us a little bit about it. Like, how do you envision it? What do you tell a client when they come to you? So walk us through branding, take our hand, and it's all yours, my friend.
Okay. First, don't be scared. If you're listening and watching and you're terrified of branding and you're overwhelmed by the thought of having a big name brand or where to start or what comes first, just breathe. It's not something that needs to be so overwhelming. Really what it is you need to find what lights you up and put that into your brand. So the very first, let me say, branding is literally everything in your company. It is your email signature. It is your phone conversations, the way you speak. It's your logo. It's your website. It's your social media posts. It's all of everything. Every single touch point that your customer has with you is building your brand. Whether it's good or bad, it's impacting their view of your company, and that is the brand. So the very first thing that I like to tell my clients, and it's on my intake form, is number one, go to Pinterest, because it's a really simple tool that already exists, and many people have a Pinterest account, and if you don't, it's easy to get one.
Yeah.
And start pinning things to a board that make you smile. If you're scrolling through and you stop, but you have to scroll back up, pin that, whatever that is, something grabbed you. And it's pulling all these pictures that probably resonate with you because of a feeling. It's usually bringing up either happiness or energy or love or some sort of feeling. Those are the photos that you're going to use to shape your brand. Because the feeling that you want people to get from you and from your website and from your email signature and all of that, the feeling of that is the big part of your brand. And then the next step.
I love it. I want to highlight that. The feeling you're creating. The
feeling. It's not just colors.
Yeah.
Pink means girly, so I need to use pink if I want to attract women. No. It's the feeling. There are infinite number of colors, an infinite number of you need to feel it. If you're not feeling it, your ideal customer isn't going to feel it either. And if you're putting out things that you think you should be using, like pink for women, but you hate pink, if it doesn't resonate with you, you're going to get the wrong people, right? You're not going to enjoy working with them because they're not resonating with what you resonate with. They're resonating with pink. But if you hate pink, it's a mismatch, right? You don't want to have that happen. And it's really going to just cause headaches and trouble.
Yeah. And if you love it and you own it, even guys might be attracted to it and say, I want to work with this person because their brand is amazing. Even if you have the pink, right?
Yeah. And I actually say something that might be sort of controversial between other designers and branding strategists is...
I like controversial stuff. So give
me
it to
too.
us.
Other people say, take a look at your competition and see what they're doing. Take a look at your target audience and see what do they want. I say, when you're building your brand, yes, that works for maybe products or services, but when you're building the foundation of your brand and the feeling that you're going to give out, don't look at anyone else. Look at you. Don't look at what your clients want to feel. Right now, you want to look at what you feel and what you love and what attracts you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, it's one thing to share like, hey, look, I love how this is done. I know you asked that in your intake, right? Because I remember answering that. Like, what are some websites that you like, the way it looks?
Yeah.
I think it's great to be able to give that, but not, obviously you don't want the same thing because you don't want to be a copycat. You want your own thing with your own flair. But maybe you like the structure or you like the flow of that or whatever, the design overall. Love it. Love it. So what about your why? Because I know you talk about that a lot. Like, think about your why. That's very linked to your brand. How would you tell us? How would you
Okay.
make it?
So honestly, I feel like I'm in the middle of my why. I'm in the middle of my brand story. I feel like it's still going.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of a chapter. But my very first kind of, if I look back a couple of years, the first moment that I realized what was part of my why was literally almost 3 years ago. My littlest son, he is turning 3 next week. And
Congratulations.
thanks. He's my baby, and I can't believe he's already almost 3.
I
This is
know.
crazy.
Yeah, my daughter is 2.5, my little one. So
Yes.
it's crazy. I know.
What's really crazy is when my oldest was 3, I had 2 under her. I had 2 younger ones. And I'm like, oh my God, how can I have 2 more under him? Anyway.
Yeah.
When he was born, he almost died. He survived and he's thriving. He's beautiful. He's adorable. He's so smart. But at that point, it was really hard. But when I realized, that he wasn't going to die, that he was going to come home with us and he was fine, that changed. That was kind of the first click in my mindset that was so scary. Nothing else will be so scary. So I chopped my hair off a couple months later. It was really, really long. I chopped it off to even shorter than this.
Was that like a courageous step that you were taking?
Yeah, because it's just hair. I realized there's nothing so scary as your child almost dying. I'm not going to be scared of a haircut anymore.
I love that.
And then literally 2 months later, I was in the direct sales business. Again, something that was scary, but not as scary as my son almost dying. So that was kind of when I started realizing that I don't need to follow the path of society or the path that my parents led me through or the path of whatever people tell you to do. I realized I can live my own path. And I'm literally still learning that. And I'm learning new things about myself. And I'm still kind of walking down that path now. Like I'm literally in the middle of a chapter.
Yeah.
But what I learned and what I love to share with others is that they can do whatever they want to do. They don't need to work a 9-to-5 job because that's what people tell them they have to do. They don't have to be even an entrepreneur just because everyone's doing it. They can do whatever they want. If you love to be a garbage man, awesome. Just do whatever it is that you love.
That's right.
And so for me, my why is really sharing that experience of I've learned what I love to do, and now I'm using what I love to do to help other women specifically, but other people realize that they can do what they love to do. And in a very, specific sense, they love to do maybe coaching and they don't like the tech stuff. I love the tech stuff. So you do the coaching and I'll do the tech stuff.
That's right.
As simple as that.
A great collaboration.
Exactly. And then in a bigger picture, again, like if they love to, make a difference with other people and build their community and help others, then I can do my small part in having them or helping them grow online.
Yeah.
So they do what they love and I do what I love. And that's kind of part of my why. And so putting it into your business is probably something you're already doing, but you might not be consciously
aware of it. Yeah, like do it more consciously. Like that's what you're basically suggesting, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Do it more consciously. Put it into your Facebook posts. Connect it on your about page and on your homepage copy. Put your why into it because your story is going to connect with people more than just saying, I'm Alyssa and I build websites. Do you want a website? That's not going to connect with people as much as your story and your why.
Exactly. I love it. I love it because it's funny because, I batch all my recordings and already today with 4 of my guests, like 3 have mentioned this, the story, even if that wasn't what we're talking about, but the storytelling has come up. So
yes,
it's really powerful. Love it. So one question that I have is how do you keep your brand consistent, like across with everything that you do so that you are showing up? That doesn't mean that you have to be crazy like me wearing always your brand colors. Like I like to wear my brand colors, which are, of course, purple, like a deep purple and like a salmon,
coral,
coral, salmon, peach. So it doesn't mean that, but like, how do you keep consistent with your brand?
Well, what I love about you wearing your brand colors all the time, and I do that a lot too, is it's probably because you love the colors. It's already in your wardrobe, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of building an authentic brand. And I know authentic is kind of a buzzword that people throw out a lot, but if you're picking colors and you're picking things that make you feel good, you're probably going to do it. It's going to be easy. The whole thriving is it's going to come naturally to you, and it won't be super hard. And really, you said it, the key is just consistency. Whatever it is that you pick and that you love, the color palette, the words that you use, whatever it is, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
My entire room is peach, and then I have the gray here, which is part of my brand color.
Yeah,
and then I have my purple chair. You can't really see it. It kind of looks like navy blue, but it's actually purple. It's amazing, like that. You know, like you said, like it makes you happy. But like when you show up online, so is it beyond the matching quote pictures and beyond matching, you know, all the Facebook covers that you're using for your, you know, Facebook group?
Right.
The cover photo, like what can you do beyond all of that? Because I think most people know those things, but what are those little things that you could do to really make it unique?
Okay, I've got 3 tips. Number 1 is use the same profile picture across everything, your social media header, your pictures, everything.
Believe in that.
And related to that is people won't hire you if they don't know that you're there. So people need to recognize you, and usually you are part of your brand. And so your name needs to be everywhere. And so my second tip is don't just make chit chat on Facebook just for the heck of it, but really try to engage with other people. If they're having a bad day, try to help them. If they're really excited about something, say good job. Like give them encouragement, whether it's business related or not.
Yeah.
Just comment on people's posts, and that will get your visibility up. People will see your name and your picture and recognize you. And then my last tip, and it's kind of what we talked about before, was controversy. If you stand for something and you're not sure if everyone else does, post it anyway. People will recognize you. And you'll have, you know, lovers and haters because, you know, everyone has both. You can't make everyone happy. But putting up those big messages, I feel like I'm not saying that well. But being yourself and being not afraid to share your ideas and your thoughts and your opinions. Be a little controversial, and that's okay because you'll get noticed. And I think for me, that's part of my brand is really just the people noticing me. If they don't know who you are, they are not going to hire you. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. But I have one question about that, because I know this is something that comes up in, you know, in high performance coaching, we do courage session. And it's one of my absolute favorite sessions because, you know, high performance has 5 pillars. Clarity, energy, courage, productivity, influence. And the courage piece is so important because it's about showing up as your most authentic self, even if it does shake the world a little bit, even if it does make you maybe, I don't know, kind of repel some people or annoy some people, but you're being who you are and you're being true. Of course, kind, respectful, not necessarily like someone who's obnoxious.
Of course, yes.
You know,
being
in a
vulnerable.
Being vulnerable and not being afraid of your core values, what you believe in. And when I say what you believe in, not like your faith, you know, we're not talking about that. I mean, that could be a part of it, but not limited to that. So I just love that you're mentioning it, but I know this is a question that people have. Like, how do you do it in a way that you're not like on a political rant, or you're not trying to convert everyone to your faith, or because, you know, that's annoying, right?
And people will everyone will get turned off by that. Yeah.
Like, how do you do it in such a way that there is a lesson there for people, but it's not like a rant?
Yes. Great question. I will post things that come up because it related to a story or something that happened to me that day, or something my kids said, or something I heard at the store. I don't just rant because I feel like ranting. it's usually when something happens and I've got a bit of a story and, like you said, a lesson, something that's come out of it, or some question that maybe I believe this, or I disagree with looking at who your ideal client is, for example. But then asking a question like, how do you pick your brand colors? Like, just kind of having that engaging conversation, not just that you're on a podium ranting, but it's a conversation.
And you do it so beautifully. You do it so beautifully because, I mean, you're my friend on Facebook. I follow you. So you do it so naturally. It doesn't look like you're on this podium like preaching to everybody, do this because I said so.
Right.
But you're just sharing like what worked for you, and you're always pulling out some sort of a lesson from like you always bring it back to business or to life in general. Right.
And I like learning what other people do. Like, this is what I did in this situation. What would you do in this situation? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Alyssa, you are just such a bright light. Thank you so much for just being here, for being a part of my life, and,
thank you.
being on this podcast. I really appreciate your work and your time.
Thank you so much. It is awesome to be here and to know you. I met you in person and I love you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alyssa. And Thrivers, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Until the next one, live on purpose, focus on what truly matters, and keep thriving.
Thank you for tuning in. Join our Facebook group by typing The Thriving Entrepreneur in the search box. And connect with Yasmin at yasmininal.com. That's YASEMININAL.com. Till next time, keep thriving.